Part 132. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1320. What's the use of telling me these things? Zhuangjie looked at her indifferently, and the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. You should tell Yu Yang. No, I have to explain it clearly to you. Hu Fangfang shook her head with no expression on her face. He doesn't like Song Jingru, and he values my work ability, which gives me false hope. Man, I should take my chances, right? But then, he brought you, how ironic, more beautiful than Song Jingru, better at dressing up, and younger. It turned out that he was just as vulgar as he only loved beautiful women. It just happens that he doesn't love you. Zhuangjie frowned and couldn't help but refute her. It doesn't matter, the fact is that he found a beautiful girl 9 years younger than himself. Hu Fangfang smiled contemptuously and shrugged. This is a man who always likes beautiful. Of course, some men also love talented women. The premise is that this talented girl is beautiful. Zhuangjie was non-committal and smiled lightly. Hu Fangfang lowered her eyes, lowered her head and gently stirred the teaspoon, and then said, I really hate you, but thank you very much, you broke my dream and brought me back to reality. I didn't touch your ID. Song Jingru will bump into you, and it has nothing to do with me. Asking you to send the mask is a temporary whim, trying to scare you. I want to see you like Song Jingru after being scared that night, screaming and crying in a gaff, wondering if Yu Yang would hate you because of this, and scold you like Song Jingru. That area is fenced off with barbed wire. I knew that a long time ago. I didn't intend to kill you. I'm not so crazy. If this caused you any psychological discomfort, I apologize to you now. Very sorry. Zhuangjie looked at her quietly, feeling a little funny. It's been so long, and you suddenly came here to tell me this big thing, just to apologize to me? Zhuangjie asked with a smile. Why? My internship period is over, and I'm going to be promoted. Hu Fangfang answered the wrong question, then fell silent, and looked out the glass window with her mouth pursed. The sun is golden in color, and the icicles hanging on the treetops reflect brilliant lights. Everything looks very warm, but she knows it's just an illusion, because once she goes out, she will be wrapped in cold air. She said, I will go to work in lower level areas and will not stay in Xinjiang City, but my boss didn't sign it. He told me that if I can't explain things clearly to you and don't have the courage to be honest, he will think I'm too cowardly, unable to assume the duties of a prosecutor. That's why I'm here. Hu Fangfang's eyes fell on Zhuangjie's face again. Without love, you can't lose your career, and what he said is right. As a prosecutor, you shouldn't be timid and confine yourself to small things. Love makes me stupid. After hearing this, Zhuangjie was silent for a while, and asked her, where is Song Jingru, how is she doing? She. Hu Fangfang chuckled lightly, took a sip from her coffee cup. I've been transferred, and I'll probably only be able to do clerical work for the rest of my life, but that's fine too. With her personality, it's okay for her to handle cases independently. Embarrass her. Zhuangjie looked at the coffee cup in front of her. It had a smooth porcelain texture and was printed with golden artistic fonts. It was literary and fresh, warm and elegant. This cup can also be used to drink water, but it is a little too small for drinking water, which is not practical enough. If you like the advantages of an item, you must be aware of its disadvantages. Nothing in this world is perfect. The same goes for liking someone. Yu Yang's rationality and discipline once made her feel warm and at ease, but he is destined not to become a confidant in anger. He has a ruler in his heart to measure right from wrong, control rewards and punishments, and then arrange a corresponding way out for everyone. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 1321. Hu Fangfang harbored malice towards Zhuangjie. Although Zhuangjie was really worried for a while, she did not cause any substantial harm in the end. Yu Yang's solution was to ask Hu Fangfang to apologize to Zhuang Jie. What else? Beat her up to vent your anger? Or take advantage of his power to make Hu Fangfang lose his job? No, Yu Yang won't do that. He respected the career of a prosecutor and valued the future of his subordinates. He would not ruin Hu Fangfang's life just because of her confusion. Isn't fun enough? For some reason, Zhuang Jie remembered a past event. At that time, she was still studying in Gray, and a girl named Lan Kexin bullied Mu Zi. Everyone was filled with righteous indignation. Wang Zilong dragged Lan Kexin to the playground in a fit of anger, stripped Lan Kexin of her clothes and forced her to parade in the playground. It felt so good at the time. Looking back now, I realized that Wang Zilong's actions were so inappropriate. Stupid, thoughtless, reckless, unthinking hothead. Before we knew it, we had all grown up. The love of adults is a trade-off and management. Hu Fangfang stood up and said, I should go, I probably won't see you again in the future. Zhuang Jie sat in her seat without moving a muscle, and gave a faint hum. Then there is no need to say goodbye. By the way, this is for you. Hu Fangfang took out a photo from her bag and placed it lightly in front of Zhuang Jie. This is a photo that Tang Linhao kept privately. It has been kept in my wallet and I quietly printed it out. It might be of some use to you. Let's go. Hu Fangfang waved at her casually, turned and left the coffee shop. Zhuang Jie watched Hu Fangfang disappear at the door, her eyes slowly retracted, and fell on the photo. It's a photo of a racer. There were 5 people in total, 4 men and 1 woman, all with young faces, full of vigor and youthfulness. Zhuang Jie recognized the boy on the far right as Yu Yang. It looks like it was taken when he was 17 or 18 years old. His facial features have not changed much, and his temperament is also cold and cheerless. But after all, he is young, the edges and corners are not as sharp as they are now, and the brows are also showing the arrogance of a teenager, and there is still a little impatience in his expression. He's like the cool boy that the girls love to chase after in every school. Next to Yu Yang, there is a girl with a bright smile, also wearing a race car driver's clothes, who seems to be Yu Yang's teammate. This girl looks very similar to Tang Linhao, like a sibling. Zhuang Jie stared at the photo silently for a while, then suddenly reached out, turned the photo over, and covered it on the table. My heart throbbed in pain. What is this? Is it the love of the house and the black, or has there been any regrets left, so that now I pay more attention to the younger brother of my first love? Hitting someone with his hands is probably an expression of intimacy. Perhaps it was because he treated Tang Linhao as his younger brother that he would teach him a lesson. Sour and bitter, rushing up like a wave of water, it is difficult to calm down. She bit her lower lip, clutching her heart tightly, desperately suppressing the inexplicable sadness and sourness. Don't be hypocritical. Zhuang Jie told herself. In today's world, even elementary school students have been in love, let alone an old man of his age. Just say she herself, hasn't she also been in love 3 times? But, it's different. The love she talked about is over and let go. And Yu Yang's, still in his heart, forever and ever, in his heart. The phone rang, it was Zhang Xinyuan's call. Zhuang Jie answered the phone. Well, I see, how do you ask me? You know me. At this time, of course, you have to put on airs of a real girlfriend, show that a famous lady is unattainable, always keep calm and elegant, and have a proper smile on the corner of your mouth. Smiling contemptuously, instantly killing the other party from the momentum, making Xiao-san feel ashamed and shameless to get out, You ask me what should I do next? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1322. Next. Zhuangjia murmured, her eyes became empty, and her voice was very low. Next, I'm probably going to see a doctor. No appointment this time. When I arrived at the clinic, the psychiatrist happened to have time and received Zhuangjia. Dr. Zhang was a little surprised that he hadn't seen Zhuangjia coming over for a long time. How are you doing recently? I don't know if it's good or not. Zhuangjia lay on the couch in the consulting room, and said slowly, if you mean suspicious, cranky, self-pity, these problems seem to have always been there, but the fear and rejection of men, not as strong as before. Oh, Dr. Zhang asked, what reason do you think helped you overcome your psychological barrier? Zhuangjia thought for a while and replied, it should be love. I found that everyone has ambitions in the process of interacting with others. Some of them are well-intentioned ambitions. They want to please you and want to be with you. Intimacy, some malicious intentions, want to see you out of embarrassment, want to make you bad. Being ambitious is a normal thing in interpersonal communication. I don't need to be afraid. As long as I keep a safe distance, they can't hurt me. Dr. Zhang's hand holding the pen paused slightly, and looked at Zhuangjia. So, you came to the conclusion that you can protect yourself by staying away from them. No, what you're talking about is more like escaping. Zhuangjia shook her head lightly. I think, in fact, I also have ambitions, and I also have what I want. When a relationship can't give me what I want, the relationship will fail. Would be hurt. There was a faint noise and commotion outside the door. Dr. Zhang apologized and interrupted Zhuangjia. Sorry, I'm sorry. He opened the door and went out. Zhuangjia ignored him and continued on her own. My first love was when I was 15 years old. Others said that the first love is unforgettable, but I don't have much memory. I only remember when he transferred to another school. I cried for a while, and then slowly forgot. The second time I fell in love with a senior in the senior class, and took it home to play at the birthday party. After seeing my mother, his eyes stopped rolling immediately, and then he broke up with me, saying that he prefers attractive girls like my mother. Strong woman, I really saw a ghost. The noise outside the door became louder, mixed with men's roars and women's cries. It's this guy, right? You're really good. What did you say to see a psychiatrist, and you saw the bed? How long have you two been dating? Tell me. Zhuangjia seemed to have never heard of it, and continued to talk to herself. There is a third time, the third time, someone finally likes me. He said that the way I frown when I draw the design draft is cute, but it turns out it is all a lie. Human. Compared with the friends around me, I am really mediocre, except I dress up a bit. Zizi is not only smart, but also independent and self-reliant, and can solve any problems that come to her. Jinuan is versatile. She looks silent, but in fact she has more positive ideas than anyone else. As for me, I'm not smart, I'm unstable, and I'm squeamish and lazy. The most frequently heard evaluation is lively and cute. The word lively and cute is actually the same as ordinary and featureless, right? Oh, I have a talent for design, but compared with my mother, this talent has become a matter of course, not worth mentioning. Dr. Zhang, I really hope that someone can like me, even if I am so ordinary and so bad. I also hope that person can like me wholeheartedly, and only put me on the top of my heart, the only one, not other substitutes, or fill the emotional void. No one responded to her. The noise outside the door continued. Zhuangjia got up and went out, and saw Dr. Zhang and Ms. Ma huddled in the corner, and a strange man was beating and smashing furiously. Regardless of whether Dr. Zhang could hear her, she stood there and said calmly, I came here today to say this, mainly to tell you that my illness is probably cured, and I won't come back again in the future. Blessed to have each other in this life. Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1323. During the New Year's Day holiday, I originally planned to go to Yu Yang's hometown Hu County, but because he was sent to study abroad, the plan had to be abandoned. This kind of learning is a bit like exchanging work experience, learning other people's investigative techniques, understanding new types of crimes, and at the same time involving some high-tech methods of investigating and solving crimes. When I am not studying, I have meetings, eat and drink, and walk around the local area. Generally speaking, it is relatively relaxed, so it is also regarded as a kind of public tourism. Being separated by different places, the two could only communicate by phone. Yu Yang asked Zhuangjie if he wanted to go to accompany him, but Zhuangjie shied away and said that he was busy with work recently. So many things happened in Hudao town once, how dare she go through it again? After several phone calls, Yu Yang vaguely sensed that something was wrong with Zhuangjie, and asked her what was wrong. Looking at the photo in her hand, Zhuangjie gave a soft hum. There is something I want to tell you, and I will tell you when you come back. She wanted to ask him face to face. Don't be on the phone or face to face, she should look into his eyes and hear the answer from his mouth. Most women are like this, even if they already have the answer in their hearts, they are still not reconciled, and want to give him a chance to explain, any explanation that can convince him. Yu Yang studied abroad for a month, and Zhuangjie's heart tossed and tossed for a month. Counting the days to the end of the month, it was freezing cold and the air was bitingly cold. Zhuangjie reserved a seat in the restaurant, ordered a table of sumptuous dishes, and sat at the table calmly waiting for him to come back. Holding that photo in her hand, she had imagined many questions in her mind. Most of them were childish, but they were also crucial. For example, do you love me? Am I important to you? Am I your only one? Do you still think about her? Feelings are very narrow, so narrow that there is no room for a third person, even if it's just a remnant of the past. Time passed little by little, but Yu Yang was still nowhere to be seen. Just as Zhuangjie picked up her cell phone, Yu Yang's call happened to come. After she got through, she asked, "Where are you? Is there a traffic jam on the road?" "Jia, something happened to me temporarily, I'm afraid I won't be able to go back today." The voice on the other end of the phone was noisy, mixed with the voice of the crowd and the announcement of the airport broadcast. Zhuangjie had a bad premonition in her heart. She jumped suddenly, and she blurted out, "Why did you go to the airport again? Didn't you call just now to say that you have already got on the expressway?" "I have something to do temporarily. I have to go to Jingzhou, so I turned around and went back to the airport." "Jingzhou?" Zhuangjie was stunned. "Jia, I'm sorry." Yu Yang sighed softly on the phone, "I miss you very much. It's really an emergency this time." The announcement sound came again. Yu Yang said, "It's time to board the plane, I'll hang up first, and I'll go find you after I deal with the matter here." "Yu Yang," Zhuangjie suddenly raised her voice. However, the phone has been hung up. "Yu Yang. Don't go." "Yu Yang." Zhuangjie stood up and shouted his name out of composure, and everyone in the restaurant looked over. Jingzhou, the home of Tang Linhao and Tang Lin's Huang, is in Jingzhou. In a month, she had already found out that the girl's name was Tang Lin's Huang. It's Tang Linhao's sister, who has been dead for more than 10 years. Is this the so-called can't fight the dead? 10 years have passed, and you still can't let go. After waiting bitterly for a month, and finally looking forward to the reunion, he is going to Jingzhou. She is not reconciled. She is not reconciled. Zhuangjie texted him. "Let's break up." After the transmission was successful, she sat down again holding the phone, staring at the screen of the phone for a moment, even reluctant to blink. If he has the heart, if he really cares about her, if he thinks she is more important than Tang Lin's Huang or Tang Linhao, then he will definitely come back. She was waiting for news on her phone. Waited 10 minutes. Waited an hour. 2 hours. No. Not even a phone call. The restaurant waiter reminded her that it was closed, and Zhuangjia suddenly woke up, feeling that everything was over. It's all over. 4 more and blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1324. On the way home, Zhuangjia sat in the car and looked at her mobile phone. Maybe he was on the plane and didn't see the news. After returning home, she sat alone on the sofa, still staring at her mobile phone. Maybe his cell phone hasn't been turned on yet, and he hasn't seen the message. She changed clothes, drank water, went to the bathroom. No matter what she did, she dared not let her phone out of sight. But why? Why hasn't he called yet? Flying to Jingzhou for up to 2 hours, what the hell is he doing now? At 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, Shenzhenru came back with a tired figure, and saw Zhuangjia on the sofa in the living room. She didn't care, and said casually, "Don't play with your phone all day long, go to bed quickly." Zhuangjia didn't say a word. Shenzhenru ignored her, went back to the room by herself, changed clothes and removed makeup. After busying for a while, when she came out again, she found that Zhuangjia was still in her original position, motionless. "Jia. Go to sleep." Shenzhenru walked over with frowns. When she got close, she realized that her daughter's face was full of tears, and she was surprised. Looking at the mobile phone in Zhuangjia's hand, the text message from Zhuangjia was displayed in the chat box, "Let's break up." What else does Shenzhenru not understand? "I'm waiting for a call," Zhuangjia murmured. He may have just arrived in another place, and his phone ran out of battery, so he didn't see the message. You can find a mobile phone charger anywhere in the airport, how could it be out of battery? Shenzhenru snatched the phone from Zhuangjia, and deleted the contact list inside without any explanation. If he really has the heart, no matter how far or how difficult it is, he will come back to you. If he doesn't, you don't have to wait. Shenzhenru threw the phone to Zhuangjia and said coldly, "Go and wash your face, then go to bed." "Mom." Zhuangjia noticed that Yu Yang's name was missing from the contact list, and her eyes turned redder. "I'd rather you cry because you're getting old and ugly than seeing you cry for a stinky man. Now go back to my room and sleep," Shenzhenru said. Zhuangjia bit her lip, tears streaming down her face. She knew she was worthless, but what should she do? She just likes him, but she just hates him. When others fall in love, she can easily comfort them. There are no grasses anywhere in the world, and men can be found everywhere in the streets. But when it fell on me, I realized that it hurt more than digging my heart out. Zhuangjia went back to her room, put on eye mask, and closed her eyes to sleep. Tears flowed unstoppably, mixed with the essence on the eye mask paper. It quickly became a mess. She was lying on the bed with her eyes closed, feeling vaguely that she was not sleeping, but waiting for him to sentence her to death. The next morning, Zhuangjia woke up. Sunshine shines into the room through the gaps in the curtains, fine dust flutters in the golden beam of light, the surroundings are quiet and silent, and there is an illusion that time has frozen. She went to the mirror and looked at herself. Even after applying eye mask, my eyes are still red and swollen, but I can save today's eyeshadow, eyeliner, and mascara. There was no movement on the phone all night, even if she deliberately turned the volume up to the maximum, lest she would fall asleep and not hear, still no phone rang. The subconscious made excuses for him. It was greed, it was reluctance. But if you continue, you're just deceiving yourself. From yesterday to today, one day, no matter how busy you are, it's time to call back. Or, after seeing the message, he acquiesced in the termination of this relationship. Or, he thinks the matter of Jingzhou is more important, and he will come back to explain after dealing with it. Regardless of the situation above, Zhuang Jia feels that there is no need to continue. Reason and emotion, like Pegasus galloping in different directions, tore her whole body into bloody pain. Zhuang Jia looked in the mirror, took a deep breath seriously, let out a long breath slowly, and adjusted repeatedly. It still hurts. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1325. Shenzhenru packed her luggage, dragged the suitcase to the living room, and called her assistant. The housekeeping nanny comes to the house at a fixed time to cook and clean up by the way. The neighbor's house seems to be going out for a walk with the dog, and the two corgi puppies are barking happily. The sound of talking, the sound of the range hood, the clashing of porcelain bowls, the sound of dogs barking, and the sound of chaotic footsteps, it seems that this morning really started at this moment. The noise made Zhuang Jia feel the flow of time. It feels good, very good. The sun rises as usual, and life continues, and time will push her forward, and keep going until she gets out of this haze. But if the surroundings are quiet, she will feel the fear of being stuck in the mud. Zhuang Jia came out of the room and sat down at the table to have breakfast. Shenzhenru had just finished talking on the phone, so she put away her phone and came over to have breakfast too. Where are you going again? Didn't you just fly back from France a few days ago? Zhuang Jia asked her. Go to Milan, Shenzhenru said. You should pay more attention to the company's affairs these few days, and ask Shirley if you are in doubt. Yes, I see, Zhuang Jia replied. If your grandparents call to ask, just say that I will come back a year ago. Are you going to Grandpa and Grandma's house for Chinese New Year this year? Well, I didn't go back when I was abroad last year. It's time to go back this year. The mother and daughter chatted while eating, and not long after breakfast, Shenzhenru's assistant arrived, moved the suitcase to the car, and then accompanied Shenzhenru to the airport. Zhuang Jia went to the company. She drove a red trot, and when she went downstairs to the company, she took out a pair of sunglasses from her bag, and put them on to cover most of her face. Under the sunglasses, the red lips are delicate and the skin is creamy. Then step on high heels and carry a famous brand bag. When you go out, you will be the envied by Fume, a carefree young lady. While waiting for the elevator, I met an employee of the company, who greeted with a smile, "You look so good today." Zhuang Jia pursed her lips lightly, and smiled faintly, "Yes. It was 3 days before I saw Yu Yang again." She and her colleagues were having lunch in the tea restaurant downstairs, when Yu Yang suddenly appeared, standing tall and big by the dining table. His eyes were as silent as water, looking at her without saying a word. His aura gives people a sense of oppression. Colleagues were very knowledgeable, whispered that they had finished eating, got up and moved away from their seats, and looked at them gossipingly before leaving. Yu Yang sat down opposite her. Before he did anything, she already wanted to cry. There is overwhelming grievance in my heart. I really wish I could vent it all on this man in front of me. You said on the phone before that you wanted to talk to me about something, just to talk about breaking up. Yu Yang raised his hand, put the phone on the table, and looked at Zhuang Jia. He has some stubble on his chin, and his eyes are tired. He doesn't look as clean as before, but he is still handsome. Zhuang Jia couldn't help thinking, 3 days, a whole 3 days, I was really busy with Jing's affairs before I finally thought of her. Seeing that Zhuang Jia was silent, Yu Yang continued, I don't know how young girls deal with relationship problems nowadays, but unilaterally propose to break up, and then disappear without replying to the message or answering the phone, isn't it somewhat irresponsible? Responsibility. Zhuang Jia was startled. Then she realized that Shenzhenru had not only deleted Yu Yang, but probably blocked him as well. She opened her mouth to explain, but suddenly felt that it was unnecessary, pursed her lips, and acquiesced in a vague manner. Yu Yang asked, Jia, are you being emotional, or serious? Zhuang Jia looked down at his plate, was silent for a while, and asked him, why did you go to Jingzhou? Yu Yang frowned slightly, are you angry because I went to Jingzhou? Something happened to Tang Lin Hao, and I went to Jingzhou to find him. Before he could finish speaking, Zhuang Jia suddenly lost control of her emotions. He is not someone like you, why did you go to him? Does he have no parents? No relatives? Will he die if you don't go? Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1326. Her voice was sharp and her tone was mean. Zhuang Jia thought, she must look ugly now. But she couldn't help it. She took a deep breath, waited for her emotions to calm down, and said in a low voice, I thought, I am your girlfriend, and I should have a little more weight in your heart, but you see, I will send you a message. I broke up with you through text messages and you came back to find me after 3 days, I think we are really not suitable. She raised her eyes and looked at Yu Yang, speaking as calmly as she could, let's break up. After saying this, she saw Yu Yang's eyes gloomy for a moment, like a thunderstorm piled up with layers of haze, cold and sullen. Are you angry? Being dumped, of course you will be angry. Zhuang Jia thought so. Yu Yang looked at Zhuang Jia, remained silent for a long time, and said in a serious tone, my handling of this matter was not proper enough, which made you feel bad. I apologize to you. I will try my best to pay attention in the future. No matter where I go, I will tell you clearly, is this okay? After hearing this, Zhuang Jia was slightly shaken in her heart. Is it okay? If she doesn't allow him to go next time, will he go? Zhuang Jia is not sure, she has no confidence to stop Yu Yang. Jia, if there is a problem in the relationship between two people, no matter who is right or wrong, we should face it together and find a solution together instead of breaking up directly. Unless you really want to break up, breaking up won't solve it. Any questions? Yu Yang frowned, and said solemnly, you can tell me where you are dissatisfied with me, but don't mention the word break up again, okay? Zhuang Jia felt that Yu Yang was really rational. Even if she proposed to break up, he was still able to restrain his emotions, and calmly and rationally presented her with one reason after another. These words are telling her, don't be capricious, don't be childish, don't be unreasonable. Actually, not every problem in this world has a solution, she murmured softly. Yu Yang didn't hear clearly and looked at her suspiciously. Zhuang Jia said, I've thought it over clearly, we're really not suitable, let's break up. There was no response from the other side of the table for a long time. His breathing was heavy, as if trying to suppress certain emotions. Reason? Yu Yang stared at her with deep black eyes, what's the reason for breaking up? If it's because I didn't reply to the message in time, I can't accept this kind of reason. Zhuang Jia remembered what her mother said before, don't quarrel with people you care about, because most of the words you quarrel with are hurtful, and hurtful words, once said, will never be undone, and will always remain deep in the memory. Every time you recall it, it hurts. Once. She doesn't know what kind of memory she will leave on Yu Yang, I hope it won't be too ugly. There's no reason, I just don't think it's appropriate. Zhuang Jia thought for a while, then recalled Zhang Xinyuan's previous warning, and said in a low voice, you're too busy with work, and the time you can spend with me is limited, and your life circle is very different from mine. Far away, we can't play together, I watch cartoons, you watch current affairs news, there is no common topic, and you are 9 years older than me, too old, and it will be difficult to coordinate the rhythm of living together in the future. She thought she wouldn't care if she fell in love, but now that Barabara had listed a lot, she was shocked to realize that she had always kept it in her heart. Yu Yang's expression was as cold as ice. Zhuang Jie was thinking, how would he feel after being evaluated as worthless? No matter what kind of feeling it is, it will not be more painful than her. Is this about typical female ambivalence? It is obvious that the person who proposed to break up is more sadder and more painful than the person who was dumped. It's almost lunchtime, I'm leaving first. Zhuang Jie felt that she could not hold back her tears, so she got up in a hurry, and without looking at Yang again, she quickly left the restaurant. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1327. In the end did not wait for a reply. Perhaps silence is the best answer. Zhuang Jie hurried forward, her face was icy cold, and the passers-by looked at her strangely, as if she was so pitiful, so ridiculous, and finally couldn't take it anymore. She crouched down suddenly, crying loudly. He buried his head in his knees and wrapped his arms around himself tightly, as if this could hide the broken cries. She cried so much that the sky was dark and the sky was dark, she vented her emotions, and her image was completely lost. Finally, like a drowning person struggling to seek help, he took out his mobile phone and made a call, Jinuan, come here. Half an hour later, Zhang Xinyuan rushed to the bustling central business district. With her is Wang Zilong. When they saw Zhuang Jie's emotions had calmed down and she cried bitterly. She was exhausted and sat alone on a bench in the green area, with a confused look on her face. What's the matter? Zhang Xinyuan looked at her in astonishment. Did you quarrel with Yu Yang? Zhuang Jie shook her head blankly. Zhang Xinyuan frowned, took out his cell phone, and wanted to call Yu Yang to find out. Zhuang Jie took her arm, her voice hoarse, don't look for him, I broke up with him. He dumped you, Wang Zilong interrupted abruptly, I don't want such a beautiful girl, is he blind? Okay, what are you talking about? Zhang Xinyuan touched Zhuang Jie's hand, it was cold, she was distressed and angry, and she took Zhuang Jie into the car with an ugly face. The heater was turned on in the car, warm and safe, like a haven for her to stop temporarily. Suffering welled up, she still wanted to cry, but her eyes were dry and she couldn't shed a single tear. Wang Zilong was driving in front, and carefully glanced at the rearview mirror. It's not that I want to talk too much, but I need to know where to go now, or I don't know where to drive. Zhang Xinyuan thought for a while and asked Zhuang Jie, how many days will you stay at my house? Zhuang Jie shook her head lightly, take me home. There is no one in Zhuang Jie's house. Shenzhenru went abroad, and the housekeeper would only show up in the morning and evening. Zhang Xinyuan accompanied Zhuang Jie to change clothes, wash her face, put eyes on her eyes, and drink water. She advised Zhuang Jie to sleep for a while, but Zhuang Jie couldn't sleep, so she sat on the bed and told the whole story of what happened recently. When Zhang Xinyuan heard that Hu Fangfang was about to go to another place for a job, he was furious, it's too cheap for her. Think you can write it off by saying sorry and apologizing? Is there something wrong with Yu Yang? Otherwise, what should I do? After all, she didn't do anything, she just wanted to scare me, but she didn't scare me in the end. Zhuang Jie said in a low voice, besides, she is his right-hand assistant, and her working ability has always been very good. Excellent, he probably doesn't want to bury her. He has to take care of the overall situation. That's his business. You can't be wronged. Zhang Xinyuan was angry, what's more, that Hu Fangfang is just a subordinate. Let you be angry with your subordinates now, and you will encounter leaders who make things difficult for you in the future. What should I do? Is he suffering like this? Is he looking for a girlfriend or a doormat? You bastard! Zhuang Jie looked blankly at the pattern on the quilt, and murmured, it doesn't matter, anyway, we have already broken up. Zhang Xinyuan said, it doesn't matter if we break up, this kind of man who can't figure it out deserves to be single for the rest of his life. Zhuangjie smiled bitterly, he has many admirers, and the possibility of me being single for the rest of my life is much greater than him. Zhang Xinyuan looked at her haggard appearance, feeling very sad, and seeing Wang Zilong silently at the side, he was inevitably angry. Why didn't you react at all? Aren't you angry at Yu Yang for treating Jia like this? Express some opinions. What? Wang Zilong was stunned for a moment, then hesitantly looked at Zhuangjie, then at Zhang Xinyuan. He asked uncertainly, really, let me express my opinion. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life. Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1328. Zhang Xinyuan looked at him inexplicably. Why hesitate? Then I'll talk about my opinion. Wang Zilong coughed twice and cleared his throat. Zhang Xinyuan snorted, and turned to complain to Zhuangjie, their departments always have meetings, and now they speak in the same tone, like veteran cotters. If it was before, Zhuangjie would definitely take the opportunity to tease Wang Zilong a few words, but now he is really not in the mood, so he forced a smile. Wang Zilong said slowly, I think, although Yu Yang has some deficiencies, but Jia also has something wrong. Zhang Xinyuan immediately raised his eyebrows. Which side are you from? It was you who asked me to express my opinion. Wang Zilong was slightly embarrassed. The problem now is that what Yu Yang did was too much. What are you doing with Jia? This love affair is between two people. If something goes wrong, it can't be all the responsibility of one person, right? Shouldn't he be fully responsible? Zhang Xinyuan looked disgusted. Jia is his girlfriend, someone took advantage of her, and he still protects that kid. Wang Zilong looked distressed, and glanced at Zhuangjie, but Jia didn't tell him. What about Hu Fangfang? Zhang Xinyuan said, I went out with her, almost got hit by a car, and was tricked into sending some physical evidence. I actually wanted to see Jia make a fool of herself. This woman is really insidious. Wang Zilong sighed, didn't I explain it already? The pedestrian who was anxious to cross the road bumped into the person surnamed Song, and the person surnamed Song bumped into Jia. It was an accident, it was a bit too much to fool people afterwards, but it wasn't a big mistake of principle, and it didn't cause any loss, so there's really no need to make a fuss over a molehill. Making a fuss over a molehill? Zhang Xinyuan's soft voice suddenly rose, Jia is so sad, do you think it's a molehill? Wang Zilong regretted saying this, but the words had already been spoken, at least he said it smoothly and completely. He continued, Jia is sad because she thinks that Yu Yang is biased towards Hu Fangfang, but I think Yu Yang is not biased toward Hu Fangfang, he is biased towards the procuratorate, and even the entire judiciary. Do you know how much human and financial resources the country spends on training a prosecutor? Do you know how many times an excellent prosecutor can increase the work efficiency of a prefecture-level procuratorate? In your eyes, Hu Fangfang is a sinister little bitch, but in others' eyes, she might be the female version of Bao Qingtian. In short, I think Yu Yang is taking Hu Fangfang to a place where she can shine, to contribute to the country, the society, and the people, nothing bad. Zhang Zhiheating didn't call out, is this still a relationship? We are going crazy here, and we are so angry. He is still busy thinking about how to contribute to society. Is he still a person? Does he have feelings? Look. Wang Zilong had an expression that I knew, and pointed at Zhang Xinyuan, women, this is your woman, when you are wronged, you feel that the other party is unreasonable, and when you are reasonable, you blame the other party. Don't talk about feelings, this is the cunning of you women. Zhang Xinyuan picked up a pillow and smashed it over. Wang Zilong didn't dare to resist, and with his head drooped when he was hit straight, he sighed in a low voice, If you find yourself unable to speak, you will become angry and hit someone. This is also one of the distinctive characteristics of women. Zhang Xinyuan sneered, you think Jia Jia deserves to be unlucky when you co-author it, don't you? Of course I didn't mean that, Wang Zilong hastily defended, I just think it's unfair that I admired his calmness when we were together, but now I think he is too calm. If you like a fish, you will look forward to it. Does the fish fly to the sky? The fish can't fly, which makes you feel disappointed. How wrong the fish is, because it doesn't know what you are disappointed at all. It's uncomfortable to be stuck here, forget it, make do with it, sleep. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 1329. After Wang Zilong finished speaking, he rarely looked at Zhuang Jia seriously. If you really like him, you can talk to him again. In fact, I think what Yu Yang said is quite right. If you are not satisfied, you can tell me, come out, the two of you will try to solve it together, but don't mention breaking up, it hurts too much. If Jinuan wants to break up with me, I have to be impatient with her. Zhang Xinyuan glanced at him, but did not refute this time. Zhuang Jia sat on the bed with her arms around the quilt, looking very confused. Wang Zilong continued to work hard. No one is perfect, you can't ask others to do everything to your satisfaction, and don't even give you the chance to make mistakes. We have to seek truth from facts, right? If you like thick fur, you can't be afraid of it. Zhuang Jia's eyes moved, as if a little touched. She whispered, he's not a bear. Wang Zilong chuckled, even if Prosecutor Yu Yang is a bear, he must be a polar bear. It is elegant, luxurious, and extremely rare. It is an endangered animal. Zhang Xinyuan gave him an angry look. I asked you to express your opinion, what the hell are you talking about? It's a fish and a bear, a mouthful of beasts. Isn't it rough to say? Wang Zilong scratched his head embarrassingly, Jia Jia, I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. Think again, don't do impulsive things. Impulse is the origin of all tragedies. Shut up, okay. Zhang Xinyuan held his forehead, the points have already been divided, is it possible that Jia Jia should kneel and lick to chase him back? Your head is flooded. Wang Zilong closed his mouth and held it back for a while, but he didn't hold back. Yu Yang, although he is in his early 30s, I feel that his personality is like a veteran cotter in his 40s and 50s. Doing the thing of stalking and chasing after a girl, if you mention breaking up, it is probably a real breakup. Get out, Zhang Xinyuan pointed at the door. Wang Zilong went out silently. Zhang Xinyuan sighed, and looked at Zhuang Jia, don't listen to his nonsense, no matter what age and personality Yu Yang is, if he can let go easily, it only means that he doesn't love deeply enough, and you don't need this kind of man think about it again. But if he comes back to you. She paused, held Zhuang Jia's hand, and said slowly, Jia Jia, if he comes back to you, you must think clearly about what you want from him, and whether he is willing to give it to you. Zhuang Jia closed her eyes and nodded slightly, as if she was very tired. You rest for a while, I will stay with you today. Zhang Xinyuan waited for Zhuang Jia to fall asleep, left the room, and gently closed the door. Wang Zilong stayed in the living room outside, saw Zhang Xinyuan coming out, poked his head and mouthed her and asked her, is she all right? How can it be okay? Zhang Xinyuan walked over with a frown, I guess she cried too hard before, and now she has no energy. Let's wait for her to sleep and see how she is. Wang Zilong moved her position, let her sit on the sofa, and asked flatteringly, honey, was my performance just okay? Zhang Xinyuan squinted at him, I asked you to accompany me to sing Red Face and White Face. What the hell are you singing? I can't even pick up the next one. Who let you play freely? I don't have any. Wang Zilong opened his eyes wide and said innocently, I'm saying everything according to what you taught me, how can it be free play? As early as the moment Zhang Xinyuan received Zhuangjia's call, she knew something was wrong. Crying like this, there is almost no other possibility except broken love. Zhang Xinyuan happened to be at Wang Zilong's place, and immediately urged him to drive over, and gave detailed instructions along the way, teaching Wang Zilong how to speak and respond. What is a good friend? A good friend is someone who can keep the same position with you no matter when and where. Those who need to distinguish between right and wrong to decide which side to stand on are spectators, not friends.